you got?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be an entire team. Jacksonville Jaguars offense will be shut down this week by the Cleveland Browns. Trevor Lawrence is going to be in, I think, for a rough day. Dak only threw for, I think, around 170 yards last week. He had one passing touchdown. Dak did actually look good, but didn't really do much. I don't think Trevor Lawrence looked very good in week one, and I don't think he's going to really doing much either against this Cleveland defense. Might also be a little bit angry after how the offense performed for them last week. Um, I also think ETN might be in for a rough day just because it's a tough matchup, but also because Tank Bixby might be getting more and more. If that becomes a split, then all of a sudden Travis Etienne's value is going to start to plummet, and he's going to have to get there on efficiency, which might be tough for him. And then all the Jacksonville wide receivers, just with all the corners that Cleveland's got, are going to be shut down. Interesting enough, not that I think I'm going to be starting Christian Kirk, but Cleveland, if they have a weak spot, it is the slot. If you're absolutely desperate, you could probably get away with starting Kirk. But just in general, for me, the entire Jacksonville offense is going to be a bust this week.
And mine is, I'm going back to Stroud again. I hate to talk about him again, but I stumbled upon that bet after I already wrote him in as my bust. Like I said, a lot of owners of Stroud probably don't have another option, and they're going to start him anyway. And he may end up okay, but I have him outside my top 10 this week. I just think he's going to be leaving fantasy owners wanting a little bit more.
And Derrick Henry is my crystal ball bust of the week. I am smashing the panic button on him after seeing last week 46 rushing yards on 13 attempts. We drafted this guy to be a bell cow. He's going in the second round of drafts. He is not paying off from what we've seen in week one. He used to get there on efficiency. He used to get there on a volume. He's not getting the volume. He had 11.5 fantasy points in DraftKings, getting one touchdown. If he has a game with 0 touchdowns, he's really, really having a crappy week. He had 0 catches in the passing game. He was getting passing game work before in the last couple of years. He's getting none now. Justice Hill gets 8 targets and 6 catches. So, other running backs on the team are kind of stealing some of his workload. And then John Harbaugh comes out and says it. He says, we didn't bring Derrick Henry in to get 30 carries a game. That's what he used to be. Now they said, we're not going to give him 30 carries a game. I don't think he's going to get there on efficiency, and now he's not going to get the volume. So I've smashed the panic button on Derrick Henry for the whole year and this week. But another player that stands out to me that I kind of like, that I mentioned earlier, is going to be like the offensive rookie of the year, is Xavier Worthy. Zach, what do you think of Xavier Worthy?
Xavier Worthy is my crystal ball bust of the week. I think he's an exceptionally talented player, and I think he takes this Chiefs offense to a new dynamic level. However, last week, he had a huge game, 2 touchdowns, like, our very own Marcus Zerlino predicted. Well done. However, taking a closer look at that, he only had 3 total touches and 3 targets, and that turned into 2 touchdowns. And one of those touchdowns, the 35-yard touchdown, was a play where Marlon Humphrey thought that he had help behind him, so he let him pass by him. He some sort of miscommunication on defense led to busted coverage. Xavier Worthy got an easy 35-yard touchdown, a catch that literally any wide receiver in the NFL would have made. So yes, that counts for fantasy points, but I don't really factor that in going forward. So I feel like he got a little lucky to get that fantasy output this week. A guy that maybe if you're desperate you can start, but he's ranked as a wide receiver 3. I think that's really risky. Easily could have had like 3 fantasy points last week.
And let's go back to Derrick Henry for a little bit. And I think now is a great time to also transition to our crystal ball picks of the week, because I'm on the complete opposite side of the fence on Derrick Henry. And I think he's going to bounce back in a big way this week. So last week, the game script was completely against him. The Ravens were playing from behind the whole time, and their third down back is Justice Hill. So he was out there catching all the dump offs, and that's what they were doing in the fourth quarter. We barely saw Derrick Henry. I think this week it's going to be the complete opposite. They're going to completely control the game against the Raiders, and we're going to see a much larger dose of Derrick Henry. And they're going up against the team that J.K. Dobbins last week had 135 yards and a touchdown on just 10 carries. And I think Henry, I don't expect that from Henry. I don't think he's going to rip off any big runs here, but I also think he's got a pretty decent chance to score 2 touchdowns. And for just 1 touchdown, he is at minus 180 on DraftKings Sportsbook for 1 touchdown. So like that's a decent floor for me.
I'm with
Can you
Marty
hear
on
me?
that one.
I'm
Yeah,
with
I'm siding
Marty
with
as
Marty
well.
over Eric as well.
I think
Sorry.
Eric might regret that one.
So the panic button has been smashed in my department. I've got
don't
some
think you-
Derrick Henry, so I hope you're right, Marty.
I don't think you can smash it until they play the Raiders.
Fair
Then
enough.
you can smash it. If
Time will tell.
if he doesn't
Yeah,
do good this week, you can smash it.
If
Yeah,
lost
if
J.K.
actually- if-
Dobbins can do it.
And I will say, though, I will be very concerned about Derrick Henry if the Ravens control the game and we still don't see much Derrick Henry and he still has a bad game. Then, like, if he's not going to perform in this game, I don't think he's going to perform at all.
If he can't perform against the Raiders, I think he's done.
Who will have more fantasy points, Derrick Henry or Brock Bowers? Brock Bowers did have a good week 1.
Straight up for me, that'd be
Derrick
number
Henry,
3.
like times
Running
3.
back. Yeah.
Well, times 2. Give me times 2.
We'll check back on this next week.
How about the crystal ball picks of the week?
Yeah, how about
Yeah, Eric.
Who do we like?
Marty likes
I
Henry. Who do
like-
you like, Eric?
I'm tossing to Marcus.
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah, let's go, Marcus.
Yeah, for me, I've already mentioned it in my best bets. For me, it's Jayden Daniels. I'll keep it short and sweet. I think he puts the league on notice with 4 total touchdowns against the Giants, and maybe even starts to say, hey, Philly, I might be coming for you for this division, Dallas too. Because I don't think Philly and Dallas is as strong as they let on in week 1. So I think this is Jayden Daniels starting it out. And is my crystal ball pick of the week.
4 touchdowns. That's what we're gonna go with, Marcus.
Yeah.
4.
4 total touchdowns
4.
between
I-
passing and rushing.
I drafted him as my backup quarterback in 4 leagues, so I guess I should be starting him. 4 touchdowns. I want that.
Stolen from me.
It doesn't get easier than the Giants.
You know, as somebody who's been an optimistic Washington fan for going on 20 years, I'm a bit skeptical of that, but I sure hope it happens. My crystal ball pick is Jamar Chase. I think the Bengals, you know, they missed so much time in the offseason, so much preseason action as well. I think it's just going to take them a week or 2 to get things figured out. Yeah, I feel like they underutilized Jamar Chase against the Patriots week 1, but now they're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. They're going to have to score some points. It's going to force Burrow to throw the ball more, and I think they're going to funnel it Jamar's way. He's going to have a big game.
For me, there's a player that stands out in week 1, and he only had 9 completions. And when a quarterback only has 9 completions, you think, man, this guy's probably trash. But he ends up being a top 5 quarterback. Anthony Richardson, number 5 quarterback on the week, gets there with complete efficiency, hits deep ball after deep ball, rushing touchdown. I see him hopefully having no games the rest of this year with less than 9 completions, as long as he can stay healthy. So this might be his floor. Like, we knew he had real high ceiling potential. So if he can get to number 5 with only 9 completions, just imagine if he had 20 completions. We could see a real outlier, maybe consistency of being a top 5 quarterback from him over and over again. I will say we're moving on to week 2. We waited, we prepped for this, we prepped for the fantasy season. The fantasy season is here. We just finished week 1. I think it's in the books. We got to look ahead and just, give credit to the fantasy gods to keep these players healthy and uninjured, because things like that can just change the fantasy football season. Jason, what do we need to do to look forward to week 2?
To look forward to week 2. I actually thought of this while we were doing it, guys. I think what we should do is I should give like a bonus to the one I think is most accurate. So this week I'm gonna give my double ball to Anthony Richardson for the crystal ball pick, and I'm gonna give my my double ball bust to. It's tough, but I got to go with Zach, and I'm going to go with Xavier Worthy. So the double balls, they're up. But a reminder to everybody, hopefully this helps you for this week in fantasy. If you like what you see, smash that like button.
Let's do it.
Thanks for watching,